Hi everyone, welcome to the day 7 of our Power BI training. So yesterday we worked with basic DAX and we practiced some of the basic DAX functions which were aggregate functions and the count functions and the count distinct functions. Now today we will go a little deeper and focus on two areas. So the first area will be creating business metrics like total sales and profit margin. And the second area which we will be discussing about the time intelligence functions like year to date, month to date, and quarter to date. We will build everything step by step inside our Power BI desktop. So let's start. So today we will be learning about some business metric creations. So while creating a new measure, let's start by building some key metrics such as the total sales. So I'll just right click on the sales table. I'll click on the new measure. Again, I'll write the total sales, which will be nothing but just sum of sales sale amount. Done. So this adds up all the sales amount in our sales table. So watch what happens when I put it in a card visual. So let me just drag it in our canvas. And I'll change the visual to card. So here you can see, let me just change it to the dollars. So it is $2.55 million, which is our total sales of our uh, total sales. And if I add a slicer for a reason, let's say I added a slicer here, I'll just drag it properly. I'll keep it as a slicer. If I select East, so as you can see, we have $575,000 sales in East. If I select South, we have $676,000. So it will change dynamically. The card will change dynamically, and we can see the sales by region. Now, our next measure is the total cost amount. So let's create another measure. Just let me quickly give us little bit format in this card visual. So let's say we have added a border so that we can see the boundaries of this particular card KPI. Yeah, so let's create another measure which is the total cost amount. So let's write it as total cost, which is sum of our cost amount. We'll drag that into in a card visual. So I'll just copy and paste this. And instead of total sales, I'll just use total cost. I'll change it to the dollar mark. So here we can see it is $541,000. So this is the total cost, similar logic. Now our next metric which we are going to create the measure, it is a profit. So profit is nothing just total sales minus total cost. So we'll write profit. So we'll create a new measure as profit. So as you can see for our southern region, the total sales is $676,000. The total cost is $541,000 and we have the profit of $134,000. So simply we have just did we minus the total sales minus total cost to get the profit. Now our next measure is the profit margin percentage. What if I want to see how much percentage profit I got from this total sales? Okay, so let me just make a little bit space for our another card KPI. So what we know from our mathematical knowledge, so we have to divide the profit with the total sales. Then we will be getting the percentage of profit. Let's write profit percentage. Or else I think we have to divide it by total cost. Then only we will get the profit percentage on that cost. So I have written profit percentage, which will be our profit. So we will use the divide function. So we have divide function. So we'll write divide. Then we have to provide the numerator. The numerator is our profit. Then I have to provide the denominator, which will be total cost. Then alternate result, let's say 0. That's it. I'll change it to the percentage. I'll drag it here. We can see our profit percentage is 24.9. So notice that I use divide here. So instead of divide, we can use a simple divide operator also, but it's safer when we have to avoid 0 or when sales are 0. We have to avoid the error, and when the sales are 0, we can use this. Okay. Now let's talk about the time intelligence functions. Businesses wants to see their performance over time, like year to date, month to date, and quarter to date. So for this to work, we must have a proper date table, and it must be marked as date table in Power BI. As you can see, we have date. Now, let's create YTD sales. I'll just right click on it. I'll click on the new measure. I'll write it as YTD sales. So, first of all, we have to write calculate, which is a kind of function which we are using when we are calculating some kind of expression. Now, what we are calculating sales for the last year. So we will write here the total sales. Then we'll right click where like we will add a comma. Now you can see here we have to add the filter. So in the place of filter, we will write date YTD, which is a time intelligence function. So dates YTD we have to write. Here you can see we have dates YTD. Now we have to write the date, which date we have to consider. So we have the date, we will consider the date, and we'll close the bracket, parenthesis here. We'll click on enter. I'll again change it to dollar. From year to date, oh, sorry, let me see the error. So it is saying this date YTD, sales YTD, sales a column specified in the call to function date. I think this is not in a date format. Let me just check it out. Yeah, correct. It's in a whole number. Let's change it to date. Now, we got our year to date sales for the southern region. It is $355,000. Similarly, as we created the year to date, now let's create month to date and quarter to date as well. And write again the new measure. We have MTD sales as well. And again, we will write calculate the total sales, comma, we have to provide the filter. So we will write dates MTD. I will keep the date here. We'll close the parenthesis, and we have to change it to dollar for the currency values. I dragged it here, and you can see it is $24,000. So before using this YTD function, we should always check our relationship is active. So here you can see our relationship with the sales table for the date table, it is active. Date is the most important dimension table in our any data model. We can similarly create quarter to date, and how YTD keeps growing until December, then resets. So MTD, the month to end, month to date resets every month, and QTD resets every quarter. So this is the foundation of almost all financial and sales report. So now what I want you to practice. So you can also create a total sales, profit margin percentage and YTD sales. And you can also put each in a card visual. And you can also create a line chart with total sales and YTD sales by month. Let's say what we can do. So line chart, I'll click on line chart. I'll drag it here. I'll drag the date value, x-axis. I'll keep it as only date. I'll add the MTD sales. So we have the MTD sales in the y-axis. So month-wise, it is showing us the sales. And only if I click the date hierarchy again, and if I click only year month, so we have 2023 and 2024 only. Here we are splitting. Let's change it again to the date. So this is a trend for MTD sales by date. Let's remove this. Let's keep the total sales by date. And we will just keep for months. Let's do instead of date, let's keep month name. Yeah, outside month name. So we can see we have January, February, and here we can provide a year slicer also. So what I want a year slicer. Slicer what I want it as a, let's say, time. So for 2023, we have we have the sales as like this. So I'll just to make it by month name. Keep it as let's keep it as sales. So April we got the highest sales, and it is gradually decreasing. So today we created the business metrics like sales, profit, and profit margin, and also we got to introduce with the time intelligence functions, which is YTD, MTD, and QTD. So these measures are the backbone of professional Power BI dashboards. And tomorrow we will go even further into advanced analytics like rolling averages and comparisons across periods. So if you want the data set to practice hands-on, so you can find it in my GitHub. I will be posting this to my GitHub and I'll provide you the link. So thanks, and let's connect tomorrow again.